Just put my jersey on for the first time. Broncos orange, let's ride. Green screening it with my boy.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. We in the orange, baby. Let's go. Let's ride, baby. Ooh.
You're too clean right now, no cap.
Well, we know what we doing. I had my boy Drew. Now I got 1-4 with me.
1-4 with me.
Boy,
Hey.
hey.
Yes, sir.
Show them what we gonna do.
Yes, sir, Ski.
Just put my jersey on for the first time. Broncos orange, let's ride.
Broncos orange. Let's ride. Let's ride. Man, he's such a code switcher. I mean, you gotta love Russell just for the fact that it's like, come on, man, you don't need to code switch. You don't need to code switch, but if you followed Russell long enough, you know he does it. You know he does it. There's like 5 different Russell Wilsons out there. Welcome to First Kick Seahawks. Please like and subscribe. It would really help out the channel. This is going to be a different stream because of the news of, you know, our Hall of Fame quarterback and the legacy of him coming to an abrupt end in Denver, which, I mean, he didn't even make it through 2 seasons. And when Sean Payton was brought in, I kind of knew it was coming. A lot of people were like, oh, yeah, he's going to fix Russell. I'm like, he's not going to try to fix Russell. He doesn't want to. And it was a heartbreaker, I think. And it must have been hard for Russell because Drew Brees has been his guy. And so he must have been like, my prayers are being answered. I'm going from Nathaniel Hackett to the quarterback coach I've always wanted, which is Sean Payton. I want Drew Brees' guy, Sean Payton. And a part of me always thought, I'm going to go to Denver. I'm going to sabotage Nathaniel Hackett. And then I'm going to get Sean Payton in the door. And then Sean Payton's going to come in. And everything's going to be awesome. Except little did he know, Sean Payton doesn't like him. I'm going to fix one quick thing with my stream. And then we will get right into this. I was having some bitrate issues last night while I was testing some new hardware. My bedroom is also toasty, so I'm going to turn this window. So what's going on with Russell Wilson? Well, he's in October was asked by the Denver Broncos to give up his injury guarantee, which is like $30 million. And he's like, why the fuck would I do that? Because why the fuck would you do that if you're playing a game where 100% chance you're probably going to get injured? That the guarantee you get if you get injured, you would just be like, sure, I'm going to let you have that. Because if you let them have that, they're probably going to cut you anyways afterwards. Why would you give up that guarantee? Because if he gives that up in October, they could still bench him in October. They could fuck his career anyways. So yeah, keep the injury. So then he goes out there and he balls and he wins like 5 games. And you could say like, well, the defense and stuff. Man, that game he lost against the Lions, he's not the one who was responsible for 42 points. That game against the Patriots, he did have a comeback. He's not the one who gave the Patriots an opportunity to come back and win it with a field goal. He's doing his thing. He's not the one who's calling in high school offense in the run game. Sure, you can say, well, the passing game is a high school offense, if that's what you want to call it. But the run game itself, there's no excuse for that to be a high school offense. That's on Sean Payton. It's not his fault that everything's getting held down, unless you want to argue the passing game. If this offensive mastermind is supposed to come in and fix Russell Wilson, who can make every throw, and is not doing it, then what's the good of Sean Payton? He was supposed to come in and bring in a run game for Russell Wilson and did not. And when you look at what the Denver Broncos gave up to, quote unquote, fix their offense, they gave up their defense to do it. They had, what's his name? Started with an E, their defensive coordinator last year. Came in and kicked ass. And it was like, yeah, if you just scored like 20 points a game, you probably win 10 games last year and make it to the playoffs. So you just needed to bring in a Sean Payton. And what did they do? They traded their best pass rusher instead of paying him. So he's on the Dolphins. And then they trade like a 3rd round pick to the Saints for Sean Payton's contract. And we hold that trade pick this year. We either get the lowest Saints 3rd or we get the lowest Broncos 3rd, whichever is lower, which is great for us. So they get rid of their best defensive coordinator since Vic Fangio. And then they get rid of their best pass rusher, and they get rid of a 3rd round pick so they can bring in a retired head coach who arguably isn't a good head coach, and I'm going to get into that, to fix their offense, who doesn't actually fix their run game at all, which was the thing. Like, if Russell had a run game, he'd probably be good. Doesn't come in and fix the run game. Kind of sabotages everything. In October, asked their quarterback to remove the safety net on his contract, which implies that you wanted to get rid of this man at the beginning of the season. Screams at him midway through a game where the defense is imploding. And then benches him after he sweeps the Chiefs. I don't know. Bull Pucky is what I call Sean Payton's career. This dude had great players thrown at him with Drew Brees and all these amazing scat backs. Awesome offensive line all the time. Great receiving core. And he always went 7-9? Like, regularly went 7-9. All the time went 7-9. With one of the greatest offensive of all time, went 7-9. So Russell Wilson comes in, and it's basically the same result, 7-9. For the same reason, the defense isn't together. Russell Wilson's having a solid career with no run game to speak of. Sorry, a solid season. Sure, he's not having a Hall of Fame season. Sure, he's not having a, perfect pocket season. But he's got no run game to speak of. And it's better than last year. He came in looking athletic and ready to go. It's the first year with a new coaching regime, new ownership, basically new offensive line. And he's looking good. Keep building on that, maybe. You're going to pay him anyways next year, $30 million. But if you cut him in early March, before, that injury guarantee and everything, you can just take that $30 million hit next year and just get rid of him. And then you can pay Stidman $11 million next year on top of it and just get him out of the building, which is apparently what Sean Payton would rather do than have this quarterback that's taking care of the ball that you're not helping at all. And this is with me always not liking Russell Wilson's game. I just don't think Russell Wilson's being treated fairly. I think he was set up for failure in Denver. But I never liked Russell Wilson's game. Period. And I'm definitely going to get into that. But to be clear, I think Denver, when they brought in Sean Payton's plan was, well, first I'm going to get rid of Russell Wilson. This is going to be my team, not Russell Wilson's. Fuck that guy. And Russell Wilson must have thought, Drew Brees is my dude, and now I'm getting Drew Brees as head coach. This is going to be amazing. It must have hurt so bad when Sean Payton came in being a complete douchebag, which the Super Bowl he won was A, the NFL probably helping him out, and B, Greg Williams coming in and headhunting teams and hurting everyone along the way. It was a dirty team, big asterisks on that Super Bowl. Did get one for the Saints. Did get one for Drew Brees, but when you look at the rest of their career, 7-9. Not a good. I mean, that's Jeff Fisher. That's a Jeff Fisher career right there. So how do you help Russell Wilson? Well, you got to look at his heritage. You always got to look at his heritage. And I'm not going back to Wisconsin. We're going to start with Pete Carroll and how he motivated Russell Wilson. And it wasn't by screaming at Russ on the sideline. It was the believe in every play. Always believe in every drive. And Russell Wilson's old coach, his mental coach who passed away, Trevor, I believe, a couple years ago, is the same thing, always believe. And the way that Pete Carroll kind of set up his entire team was, I'm going to have all these unique players and I'm going to put them in positions where they can just be themselves. For good or for ill. And what was Russell Wilson's thing? I'm going to be Fran Tarkington, and I'm going to scramble around, and I'm not going to have short plays whatsoever. I'm going to throw only explosives, because that's all that matters to me. I'm going to not throw interceptions, and when I complete the ball, it's going to be this gigantic pass down the field. Because ultimately, when I complete a pass, what's that going to do to my statistics? And this is me projecting my feelings on Russell Wilson's game. If I run the ball, it's going to really affect my DVOA and how effective I am. And when I throw the ball, I don't want it to be this 3-yard pass or this 5-yard pass. I want it to always be an explosive, because that's how I enter the Hall of Fame. That's how I become a legacy player, is every pass needs to be this dynamic, crazy, explosive play. Everything else doesn't matter. It's all just chunk yardage. So you'll see with Russell Wilson is he would all the time hold the ball when there was an open guy open underneath. But it would have been like a chunk yardage play, and then he'd just be staring down the field. And that's Russell Wilson's game, is he will run around and then wait till there's a huge play open down the field. And so how did Pete Carroll build that? He ran the fuck out of the ball. So much so that people started accusing him of only running the ball. That's all he wanted to do, was just run the ball. No one would protect Russell Wilson because all he's doing is scrambling around down there and then throwing to guys downfield. Well, that wasn't Pete Carroll's fault. That was him realizing all Russell wants to do is throw deep down the field, and he perfected that to the point where Russell Wilson's known for the moon ball. He's like, fine, if you want to be legendary at throwing deep downfield passes, then we'll set up an offense for you that does that, because that's what you're really good at. And if you want to be good at scrambling around, we'll set up an offensive situation for you with Marshawn Lynch. and then Thomas Rawls, and then Chris Carson, where we're going to run the hell out of the fucking ball to set up the moon ball for you and to set up the outside scrambles for you. And so with Sean Payton, and especially with Nathaniel Hackett, they didn't do that at all. And with Shane Waldron, did not do that at all. Didn't really have the option to do that. So if you want to have a player that for his entire NFL career was trained to do a specific type of thing, he may say, oh yeah, I can be the chain mover and all this stuff. You just need to understand that's not who he is. Tom Brady, if you put him in the Russell Wilson offense, will fail. Maybe Tony Romo could do it because he has the pocket but he would still fail. Lamar Jackson could do it. Maybe Patrick Mahomes could do it because of their ability to get outside of the pocket. But if you want somebody who's going to stay in the pocket and deliver passes on time like Drew Brees, Sean Payton, that's not the quarterback. So if you're a offensive genius, why is it that you can only create a scheme for a specific type of quarterback? No, you advertised yourself as going in and fixing Russell, meaning that you were going to create an offense that he was going to be good at. You were going to come in and you were going to say, I know his heritage. He needs a run game. I'm going to add a run game to the Russell Wilson offense and make him do what he's good at. And instead what you did is you came in and you handicapped him and by October said, I want to get rid of you. That's a scumbag thing to do. And again, he's not a good head coach. He never puts his players in a position to succeed. He wants players that run his system. He can't run systems that put his players in a position to succeed. And this is why he's a bad coach. Where Pete Carroll's a good coach. He can get a player like Drew Lock and put them in a position to succeed. He can take a player and change his entire scheme to make them succeed. Because it's not about him, it's about who's on his 53. I can't stand Sean Payton, and I never have. I fucking hate that guy. With his smirky little fucking pout lips. Ugh. I don't like the way that he talks about players. I don't like the way he treats players. I don't like the way he runs his organization. And when he went to Denver, I knew he was going to treat Russell Wilson like crap. And then he did. So I just hope that Russell doesn't get blackballed by the NFL. I want him to have an opportunity somewhere else. He might not get the $30 million a year contract. And sure, Baker Mayfield may stay in Tampa Bay, but I bet he'd be good in Tampa Bay. Maybe the Falcons. London and Pitts over there. Doesn't throw to tight ends. Don't know why I said that. I don't know. I want to see him with a head coach that isn't a fucking douchebag. And then before that, he had Nathaniel Hackett, who only knows how to run the Aaron Rodgers offense. And is a rookie head coach who was way in over his head. And to be clear, I think Russell Wilson had a come to Jesus moment. He had a come to Jesus moment with this, trying to get Brian Schottenheimer fired, bring in Shane Waldron, choose Pete Carroll or me, then getting traded to Denver, having everything run his way, then realizing it doesn't work that way, then having a head coach come in and treat him like shit. Probably very humbling experience. It's a not all about me type of experience. But when you have the Pete Carroll, we're all going to be in this together, he might kind of miss that. And I'm not saying bring Russell back to Seattle. I don't. But I want him to have another opportunity somewhere else. Carson Palmer going from the Bengals to the Raiders. I want to see him to go to his Bruce Arians, a good coach who knows how to use him the right way. Actually, it would be funny if he goes to Arizona. It would be funny if he goes to Arizona. You know what would be really funny? We don't pick up Geno Smith's contract, and Sean Payton picks up Geno Smith to replace Russell Wilson in Denver. So Russell's like, what the fuck? I got benched and replaced by Geno Smith twice? What is this shit? What is this shit? I don't understand. Well, you can't throw on time, Russell. You've never been able to throw on time. Geno Smith will stay in the pocket and throw on time. It's the one thing you refuse to do your entire career, Russell. It's driven me crazy. It's why I have gray. No, it's not the only reason I have gray hair. It's the fifth reason I have gray hair. It's the 12th reason I have gray hair, just like all your goddamn toilets, Russell. Who's going to buy that house? Who's going to buy the house with 12 toilets in it? I don't think anyone's bought the house in Seattle yet. That's still on the market. What's his legacy going to be? And I know his legacy in Denver is going to be, we fucking hate that guy. Denver fans, their first statement is the best day we had with Russell Wilson was the day we traded for him. The second best day was the day that we benched him. They fucking hate him. So day one, game one, he comes to Seattle. We boo him. Because of the Schottenheimer crap, what he says about Pete Carroll demanding a trade. We boo him because it's a rivalry game now. He's coming into our house week one, and we get it out of our system. We love you, Russ, right afterwards. Actually, later in the season, Bobby Wagner, who we let go, goes to L.A., comes to L.A. We cheer Bobby. But so week two of the Denver Broncos, he comes into Denver. And midway through that game, Denver's already booing Russell Wilson. Since leaving Seattle, he has been booed every single game of his career. I kind of feel for him. If it wasn't for the fact that he's living on a bed made of millions of dollars, I'd feel really bad for him. But I just feel bad for him, and like, he cared so much about his Hall of Fame legacy, and it ends up just being shat on the very end. And if he had just been authentic for the very beginning, he leaves Seattle, and Sherman obviously hates him. Half of the defense fucking hates him, and they all let it know. The offense clearly has problems with him, and he never got along with the offense. And during his wedding to Sierra, there was Robert Turbin there, who was his roommate, and then Jimmy Graham, who had been on the team for like 6 months, and he was there because Russell was there when Jimmy Graham's father, I think, was passing away or something like that. So they were emotional friends at the time. So why wasn't anyone from your Super Bowl team except for your roommate, during your wedding, Russell? What's going on, man? So and then you end up getting a head coach in Sean Payton who fucking hates your guts, and Denver hates your guts, and you leave the city that loved you, come back week one, and we boo the fuck out of you. Woo! I hope he goes to another team. I hope his career doesn't end right here. Maybe he goes to the Patriots. And Bill Belichick fixes him. I don't know. Maybe he goes to the Jets. Aaron Rodgers ends up actually retiring. It's not going to happen. Maybe he goes to the Jets and their running game with Hall and that defense is amazing and he doesn't have to do anything but hand the ball off and then throw to Garrett Wilson on these deep passes, and it's amazing with Saleh. He'll sell so many jerseys in Jersey. I don't know. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. I just had to get some of that off my chest. I wish better for Russell. Please like and subscribe to First Kick Seahawks. I'm going to get into Turnover Thursday in a little bit, and I will catch you guys around.